Hello happy campers, my name's Nikki and welcome to Yougo Camping. So in today's video we're going to be talking about camping stoves and what your different options are for camping. We're not going to be discussing about barbecues and the bigger colour gas stoves that you can get. This is more for the smaller ones, so for family campers and backpackers and hikers, that kind of thing. So we'll start off with probably the easiest gas stove for you guys to get if you're going family camping or if you're going car camping. This is a portable gas stove. This one's a little bit dirty, sorry about that. This is a really easy to set up one. It uses this aerosol type butane gas that you can see here in an aerosol container. It's really simple to set up. You just slide your aerosol into there, and then there's a button here to just click it in and your gas is ready to go. Close the door, you're ready to get using it. So these stoves are really useful because they have their own light. So as you probably can't see at the moment because of the wind, it's actually lit at the moment, which is really cool. So, and it's really easy to use. You don't have to have an extra lighter with you. These don't last as long as the other stoves, but they're a lot safer to use. They don't burn as hot, and they're a little bit safer if you want to let older children try and learn how to use these. So yeah, turn that one off. One of the safety concerns with these types of portable gas stoves is the aerosol gas canister here. Obviously any gas canister is going to be slightly dangerous, so it's really worth being careful with it. But with these ones, sometimes if they're not clicked in properly, they can leak gas, and there's been some horrible stories of these things exploding. That always happens when someone hasn't put their gas in properly. So it's really important when your gas is in like this and it's sat in where it's supposed to be, to click it in and wait for the click. Then you can test your gas, make sure that it's not loose or moving around, close the door on the gas thing, and then leave it for a minute or two. That just means if there is any gas hanging around that's just been let out as you open the valve up, that it can evaporate into the air. So it's much safer to do it that way. So this is the portable gas stove, which would be much better for use if you're doing car camping or anything like that, really. They are really easy to use, as I said, easy for older children if you want to give them a chance to use a gas stove, but they are definitely a lot bulkier and a lot heavier. So I really wouldn't suggest using one of these if you're going to go backpacking, hiking, cycling, camping, or public transport camping like we used to do. But they are really good, and I have to say we probably use this one quite a lot. One of the big bonuses with these ones is that they sit well on most surfaces. So you can see at the moment, even though this table's not that stable, that the stove itself is really stable. So when you get your kettle on there like that, it actually sits really nicely and it's much easier to use. So if you're going to go for any, we'd probably recommend this one. Now the second type of gas stove I would recommend using is what we call the Cartridge Stove. So with these stoves you get a gas cartridge like this, and you get a fixable stove like this. They come in all shapes, all sizes, and range from around about £7 or £8 all the way up to nearly £100. So it really depends what you want. This one I think was around about £15. This one I think was around about £15 or £20. So it kind of depends on what your price and budget is, really. With these gas cartridges specifically, they come in 3 different tops. So this one is a screw-in valve, and it takes a screw-in stove. This one is a proprietary valve from Camping Gas, and it's called an easy click valve. So I'll just show you how both of these work. So if you've got a screw-in stove, you need to make sure that your gas is also screw-in compatible. And it's really simple. Pop it on top and then screw it down. You might hear a little bit of gas pop out. Just keep screwing until you can't go any further. There we go. And now that should be fairly stable. You should be able to pick it up, move it around, and that's your screw-in valve. Really simple there. For the easy click valves, these are actually the ones I prefer personally. They're actually much more simple. So get an easy click stove. Again, make sure you've got the bottom that's the right one here. And then you just pop it on top like that, pop it on top like that, and then click it down. That's all it is. So with the easy click valve, if you want to test to make sure the gas is coming out, all you need to do is turn it and you should be able to hear it. There we go. You can hear that the gas is coming out. And it's the same with the screw-in valves. They have another little turny part on here. Just turn it a little bit and you should be able to hear it straight away. I will say that these ones tend to be a lot faster. The screw-in ones seem to be a lot faster, and as I say, I don't particularly like using these as much as I do the easy click because I feel that they're a little bit safer. There's probably nothing in it, but I do feel it's a bit safer. With all of these gas cartridges, one thing you'll notice is that they're not particularly stable. So although we've got ours here on a flat surface, if you were to put your kettle on top, now my kettle hasn't got any water in it, so it's a lot lighter. You can imagine if that's quite heavy, it starts to get quite unstable. And it's the same with the screw-in stoves as well. And it also doesn't really matter which stove you use, an expensive one or a cheap one. Both of them are not particularly stable. But you can get these little things, which are really great. These are little plastic stove feet, basically. So they pull out like that. And then they click onto the bottom. So you just basically stand your gas on the bottom like that. And it just means that you've got a lot more surface area to play with. And then once you put your kettle on top, it's a lot more stable. Now you'll find that these gas holders have a couple of different notches in them for different size gas canisters, but they really do fit most cartridges. I don't think I've found one yet that it doesn't fit, although this could be a first, knowing my luck.
2 hours later.
So yeah, I don't think I've found one yet that it doesn't fit. It fits on this one perfectly well. And again, it just gives you a little bit more surface area, especially if you've got a heavy pot or a heavy kettle for your nice cup of tea. So yeah, that is your cartridge stove, and that's your portable gas stove. So the last type of stove that we're going to have a look at is your solid fuel stove. Now I haven't actually got any solid fuel, but I will pop a little picture of it up so you can see what it looks like. These stoves are really cool. They're really small, they're incredibly lightweight, and they literally just pull out like that, and that's it. You pop your solid fuel on the top there, light it, and then pop your pot on top. These are an excellent choice for anyone who's going backpacking, who's going hiking, anyone that's really worried about weight. They're really, really easy to use, and as I said, there really is nothing to them. I don't tend to use it very often, just because it's not the most stable thing in the world, and as you'll notice, when you do open it out, it doesn't have much clearance. It doesn't have much clearance between the ground and the stove, so if you're not careful you can burn the bottom of the grass. If it's not too much of a problem, you can use these. If not, make sure you put it on a fireproof stand of some description, or a fireproof pot, like a paving slab. That'll work quite nicely. But these are not my favourite thing in the world to use, but I do have them in my go bag so that if I ever need to, I've got a little tiny stove that I can use really quickly. They are dirt cheap, and they are probably the cheapest stove you can buy, and solid fuel is quite easy to use as well, so can be used by mostly anyone. I probably wouldn't recommend, again, older children possibly using these ones, but with a lot of supervision. I really wouldn't recommend older children or younger children using these stoves at all, because they can be a little bit unreliable. They also burn really, really hot. So make sure you have it on a really solid surface and try not to knock it over. So a video about stoves wouldn't be complete without talking about fire safety. This is not a topic that most people want to talk about because they want to think about their weekend being fun and enjoyable and all of that, and nothing can ever go wrong. But we've been at a campsite where there's been a fire, we've been at a campsite where someone was injured, and the scream will stay with you forever. So just for everyone's sake, pick yourself up a fire extinguisher. They're actually quite cheap. I think this was around about 20 quid, and you can leave it, or £20, and you can leave it in your car, which is a great place to leave it, but make sure it's out next to your camp and easily visible. This is something I would really recommend that you teach children in your camp how to use. It's really simple. You just pull the key out and squeeze at the fire. This is a powder extinguisher, and it'll be all right for most other types of fire. The other thing we really recommend you keeping in your camp is a fire bucket. Now, you can get metal ones, you can get fold down ones. It doesn't even have to be red, just something that contains water. If you haven't got a fire bucket, bring a washing up bowl. Doesn't matter, as long as you keep it full of water, and again, you keep it really easy to hold on to. This is really important for you and for everybody else in your campsite. If there's a fire on your campsite, even if it's not your tent, you can run, pick up your bowl, and you're there ready to help straight away if anyone needs it. So it's really worth doing. Again, it can cost you pennies. Just fill up a bucket of water and leave it by your campsite, ready for everyone. And if you want to be extra secure, you can pick up a fire blanket. These are sold nearly everywhere, especially in camping shops, or you can get them online. They don't cost that much. You just pull them out the bottom, wrap the person who's on fire in this fire blanket, and do the stop, drop and roll. That will help, hopefully, to put things out if anything was to go wrong. Obviously, we hope nothing does go wrong on your camping trip, and we hope you're going to enjoy every single trip that you have. So if you have liked this video, don't forget to drop us a like, drop us a comment in the comment section if you've got any questions. We'll try and answer them. And don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will see you in the next video. With these gas stoves, they come in 3 different tops. I'm going to not do that because that looks like my boobs.